I think you all welcomed me already, but it's good to be here for this occasion, this celebration. And I'm not going to say too much here. We'll make it nice and short. Not even as long as the sermon. It's pretty short, I think. But I'd just like to, first of all, thank the priests for the work they do. Obviously, as the district superior, we have to serve priests in these missions. And priories, of course. You're blessed to have a priory here, which is quite a blessing. And our priests to take care of your needs for your souls. I think they do a pretty good job. Maybe it's not perfect, but obviously they take care of your souls. And I am grateful as a superior that we have priests that do take care of you. And I'd just like to thank them for the work that they do, not only at the Priory, but throughout the missions here in California. So thank you, fathers. And then I'd like to thank you, our faithful, for taking care of the priests. Obviously, the care that you, as I mentioned in the sermon, the gratitude and the giving them what is needed, giving your time. It's important for our priests. I think I'm not telling you anything new. You all know the world certainly attacks the priesthood. Not only the Catholic faith, but especially the priests. Satan knows that's through them that grace comes, through the sacraments. He doesn't like that. And you all know that. I'm not telling you anything new there. But it's to have your support is something important for our priests. I'm sure you're all aware we've had priests that fall. That's the history of the church. Priests have fallen. We're human. We have our weaknesses. But it's through your help that we're able to continue to do God's will in our assignments. And certainly replacing Msgr Donahue here. I know some of you were here with him. I only met him once or twice. He preached one of our retreats at the seminary in Winona when I was going to the seminary. I'll never forget, I went to speak to him and he said, "Do you want a cigarette?" I said, "Msgr, we're not supposed to smoke here." He said, "The Archbishop always did." I said, "I better not." But I certainly thank the men for the cigars the other night. They were very good. So thank you for your helping our priests out. You help them, they help you. And it's a two-way street here. And we someday we'll have another priest in the future. I can't promise anything. I know that the priests are quite overworked here with the missions that they have, taking on another mission. But certainly keep your prayers going for vocations. It's important for us. I haven't pulled out my hair yet, but it's getting less. So thank you again, and it was a pleasure coming to celebrate with you. Thank you.
Our next speaker needs no introduction, Father Ward. Thank you.
Thank you, Father Fullerton. It's great to be here. Great to see all these faces that I know. Many new faces that I don't know, but you're certainly welcome. So it's fantastic to come back. after I was here for 16 years. I think I held the title, the longest prior in any place for the amount of time. So,
How'd you pull that off?
what you didn't know was actually they just forgot about me, and I was out here for 16 years. Then they said, oh Lord, he's been there a long time. Anyway, I enjoyed all of it. Yes, as Mr. Baldwin said, hey guys, this is paradise. Yes, indeed, beautiful place. Anyway, so certainly, yes, I have to say a number of words about Msgr Donahue. I actually never personally met him, but I was in correspondence with him as I was the bursar for the society for a number of years, and so I did correspond with him on a number of occasions. And so, and a little bit of his history, which is important. Things were really rough back in those days. Wow. He was ordained in 1953, and then the council came, and after the council, it just went crazy. The church lost countless priests, countless nuns. It was just shocking what happened after the council. And Msgr Donahue had to go through that period. And I'm glad I didn't have to go through that period. That was horrific. Just to see what happened to the priests and the church right after the council. So difficult. The priests to just maintain their priesthood, to just maintain the faith. It was crippling. And the seminaries were closing. In fact, in the United States, in the 20 years after the council, almost 2/3 of all the seminaries closed in the U.S. It was devastating. And only a few priests survived. One of them was Msgr Donahue. He survived. He was at St. Felicitas and Perpetuas. He had been teaching in schools, actually. He actually had 2 master's degrees, one in theology and the other in education. So he was teaching in the Midwest. Actually, he was ordained by a bishops in Wisconsin, actually across Wisconsin. But he was from Boston originally. So I'm not sure if he had the Boston accent, but anyway, I parked my car in the back. I don't think he was that thick with that accent. A little bit. Yes. So Msgr Donahue, really a hero for his time. So Pope Pius XII elevated him to Monsignor when he was 31 years old.
Wow.
So he studied in Collegeville, Minnesota, and there acquired the Master's of Theology and Education. So he was teaching education even in the Midwest. He wanted to be a Maryknoll priest, but the bishop said no. No, you have to stay in the United States. You're going to be then just teaching, educating, and such. And so he was in the Midwest doing the same. Came out here to California, ended up at St. Felicitas in Perpetua. And so in 1970, yes, he was working there and taught then in some parochial educational studies at the time. But then things hit. The pastor of his parish told him he can no longer say the Latin Mass. Now, that was probably because they replaced Cardinal McIntyre. Cardinal McIntyre was very conservative in the Los Angeles diocese at that time, and he wasn't promoting the new Mass. But he was forced to retire by the diocese. And so, after Cardinal McIntyre then retired, then things really hit the fan. And Msgr was forbidden to say the Latin Mass. And so he had some devout parishioners who wanted to continue somehow. Let's keep this. And they're destroying things. What's happening? And so he had some parishioners then who came to him and said, let's continue the Latin Mass and we'll try to make this work. And so they found a little place for then Monsignor to live inside the parish. And this was pretty radical in 1973 for a priest to leave the diocese, leave what he knew as authority, his superiors, to go out on his own. That was a huge move for him. And so these parishioners then, who indeed I will mention, Mrs. Ann Dawn and John Dawn. And we have Judith here. Judith is here, the daughter of Ann Dawn. Please stand up. Yes. Ann Dawn is still living. This is her daughter. Good. Thank you. And Judith probably remembers, I don't know, maybe she wasn't born yet. I don't think so, probably. Wasn't born yet. And there were mass was going on at her house in Pasadena. And so the Dawns lived in Pasadena, and they tried to help Monsignor Donahue to leave the parish, which is in San Marino, a very big parish. Helped him to leave, and got him into then a small apartment where he would say his mass. But then, I guess things got too crowded at the Dawn house, as more people were coming in, and so they had to move out to a hotel. The older priests know what it was like to say mass in hotels. My first mass was in a hotel. That's just the way it was in the early days. And so, yes, indeed, he said mass then at the Huntington Sheridan Hotel, which I think has been renamed now today. I don't know what it is now, but that was on Pentecost Sunday, 1974.
Wow.
So it is 50 years now since Monsignor Donahue was offering Mass there, the Tridentine Mass for the faithful, and 100 people showed up for the Latin Mass 50 years ago, Pentecost.
Wow.
So, who attended Mass? I want to see some hands. Who attended Mass at the Dawn's house? Anybody? Maybe Felix. Felix Gonzalez. Yes. All right, Felix.
Woo!
He told me he was only 5 years old at the time. So he really, he knew something. But then at the hotel, Felix was at the hotel. Who was at the hotel? And again, that was the Huntington Sheraton Hotel in Pasadena. Anybody? Oh, we got some hands? Okay.
Wow.
Okay, well, certainly, yes. Mrs. Robinson, yes. You're sitting next to her husband, good. He wasn't born yet either. But that's it. The Huntington Huntington Hotel. Yeah, okay, just a few. Atkinsons weren't there, no? They were at Huntington? No. Okay. Raise your hand, yes. Yeah, good. Mrs. Atkinson, great. Yeah, the early troopers attending the Latin Mass, finding the Latin Mass, boy, it was tough. It must have been very difficult. I thank God I wasn't a priest at that time. Wow. Just fighting that battle. That was tremendous. Monsignor Donahue was doing it. He was there. And so, short time afterwards, he picked up the Foursquare Hotel. Sorry, not the hotel. The Foursquare Church. No, it was like a hotel, you know. Foursquare Church.
Were you there?
Yes. Martin Temple City Boulevard. That corner. Actually, there was an article written by Gina Matzi. Somebody may remember. It appeared in The Angelus, 95, 96, at that time, which gives really the history of Monsignor Donahue. And so, yes, that was a huge event. It was one of the great events of Our Lady of the Angels. Of acquiring that property. And then soon after, making some major changes there to knock down the old church, the old hall, and build a new church. That was huge. But before that, the new church was built. Msgr Donahue purchased the church in San Pedro. Okay, and I know we have some San Pedro people from there. So that was at an old military, and they took over that church, and from then on it was Catholic. No more multiple services going on over there. So really fantastic to have purchased that church there. And we went through some renovations there. It became beautiful. Many things happened in that church. And so it's a great event there. Certainly the event of Msgr Donahue meeting Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre. And so he would go to, actually I think he met him first in San Jose, California. We went up there where it was really our first prior there with Father Post. So he went up there and met Archbishop Lefebvre when Archbishop Lefebvre was there. Sometime later, Archbishop Lefebvre then stopped in and gave confirmation ceremonies in San Pedro. And then also, so it was great when Monsignor made a link with Archbishop Lefebvre, and that was in 1976. Those are the early days. All the youth here, they weren't even born yet. The oldsters, yes, they were around, but maybe barely. And so, yes, great history. And so Monsignor then would travel to a cone and support the seminary there. He would support seminarians going there. And I'm sure the faithful helped to contribute to that cause. And so he was able to pin down, this is a good bishop, Archbishop Marcel Lefebvre, a hero. Indeed, he was a hero of Msgr Donahue. So, yes. So he acquired that chapel in San Pedro in 1978. Yeah. And Archbishop Lefebvre then gave it the name Maria Stella Maris. Yes. That's Mary Star of the Sea, of course. So, pictures of Archbishop Lefebvre saying Mass there, giving confirmations. Those were the early days, great days, important days for Msgr Donahue, for the people in Southern California. So, really fantastic. Shortly after then, of course, we know that the great church was built then at Duarte and Temple City Boulevard, and so Msgr Lefebvre, Msgr Donahue, yes, did a great work there, and a special thanks, to Vince D'Artola, who did the construction. Vince is one of the old timers here, but that comes with the gray hair, white hair, it comes with the package. So, yeah, great to have Vince there. So, all those many years. Whoa, tough years, big construction. I know there's stories behind that whole construction period. Vince will tell you if you ask him, so sit him down and give him a microphone. Yeah, so great. And so Archbishop Lefebvre, sorry, I keep saying Archbishop. We call him Archbishop actually Monsignore, so I'm starting to blend these names. Yes, so it was, yes, Msgr Donahue then celebrates his 40th anniversary as a priest, and some of the society priests were here. Father Dreyer was here for the 40th. Father Lawrence Novak celebrated with him. So Msgr Donahue, he already had affiliations with our priests. he was seeing them, they were replacing him on occasion. And so he got to know them, as Father Fullerton said, that it was Monsignor Donahue who gave a retreat to the priests. I think it was 1991, actually. We have a picture of him sitting with all the seminarians in Winona after the retreat was over. And so closer and closer he got to the society. It was rough times during those years. You know, rumors that Archbishop Lefebvre, he's turning modern, he's really a liberal. Well, that was all untrue. It was just completely ridiculous. But
Yeah.
you know, Archbishop Lefebvre, he used to say, evil is easily believed. And that's very true. But Archbishop Lefebvre was really the hero of the heroes. He was fantastic in maintaining tradition consistently throughout his life. And there's no way he was going to the modernists, really? No way. There wasn't a chance. But yet, there was turmoil going on, so things were rocky. This is the way it was. But, I mean, Monsignor Donahue then, he adhered, you know, he said this is the path. And so, before his death, he purchased the Sycamore property, the priory for the priests. And he said, yes, I bought that priory because Father Scott will never do it. And so indeed, it was true, because I was stationed with Father Scott, and I knew Father Scott, and he would never do that. And so, yes, he bought that, he bought the priory on Sycamore. And so, obviously, that's where the priests reside now. Great, good move by Monsignor Donahue. He always lived at the Cloverly House, whereas the teachers live there now, which, yes, Miss Collier remembers that house well. She's over there. Hello, Miss Collier. She is. So that's where Monsignor lived. He lived in the Cloverly. And he gave the house then to the Society of St. Pius X on Sycamore. And of course, he died in December of 1995, and it was certainly a sad moment. And how many were, well, it must be quite a few of you, were around when Monsignor died? How many? 1995. Okay, yes. A good number of you. So yes, the St. Pius X then buried then Monsignor Donahue. And another event on these events that happened was unfortunately there was a priest who sued the Society of St. Pius X to try to take the property of Monsignor Donahue away from the society and take it for himself. Now that was pretty tragic, and probably at least half of you don't know the story. I'm not going to go into the details, of course, but I was, at the time, I was the bursar for the Society for the United States, handling the finances and the like, and properties and transfers and purchases and all those things. So I was familiar with what was going on, and I knew I was going to be, I was told, actually, if it was first of all, I was going to Phoenix. But then they changed their mind and said, no, you're actually going to Arcadia, California. And so I knew that in April of 1996. But I also knew some of the inside stories that we were going to be sued. This property we were going to lose if we lose against this priest who was a city contest. And he tried to maneuver his way into the path of Monsignor Donahue. So we were going to be fighting him, but I had already been in the fights with some of these city contests before, so I knew this was guaranteed. We're going into a lawsuit. And so when I came to Arcadia, some of the faithful, they thought, Father Ward's coming here, he's going to be fighting this lawsuit, and then he's going to leave. Now, this just happened to be my assignment, and that was just part of the assignment. We're gonna fight this lawsuit, which actually took us 3.5 years. And went to the appellate courts of California. And this priest, who was named Father Barry, he actually tried to take it to the Supreme Court of California, and the Supreme Court rejected it because we had unanimous consent of 3 appellate judges and say, no, this belongs to the Society of St. Pius X. And so that was a huge victory with a lot of prayers. So thanks for all the prayers from the faithful and praying, mightily to keep this in the hands of the society and of the people in the inner circles of Msgr Donahue. Some of them are here and some of them there, yes. Some of the insiders knew this was going to society, this was Monsignor intention, this is what's supposed to happen, we know this. So, but it cost a fortune. I won't go into the numbers, although I know them. It was rough. It was a rough lawsuit, especially at that time because, so the lawsuit started in August of 1996. And so it was a rough year, 1996, taking over this parish. Because again, I was assigned in April, but I didn't really wasn't here until June, but I already knew the situation. And so, in that, I was, the following year, I started a school. So we're in the middle of a lawsuit, I'm starting a school, I'm trying to, be, I'm trying to be cheerful about this whole thing. Yeah, we're starting a school, we have teachers coming in, and we have, this is going to be great. Get your children in the school, this is traditional education, this is where you should be, but in the background, this is a total lawsuit, and if he wins, we're out of here. It was like, wow. So it was a little bit of stress there. And on top of that, the superior at the time said, let's just compromise, let's just, we'll let Barry take the Sycamore, let him take Maria Stella Maris. I'm like, no. So I'm fighting Barry on one hand with attorneys from Melanie and Myers. I'm fighting the district superior on the other hand, who wants to compromise. And it's like, wow. At the same time, I'm trying to run a school, keep the school going. And, no, we're going to win this. Don't worry, we're going to continue. Wow, thank God. It was December of 1999. The 3 judges of the Appellate Court of California decided unanimously in our favor.
Wow. Praise God.
So, it was a battle. But we preserved the parish from being the rigorous of the sedevacantist. Now, Archbishop Lefebvre said they are rigorous. In fact, some of these rigorous, he called them thieves. And that was almost what happened. And so, rough. So, Our Lady of the Angels Academy opens in September of 1997. We saw various teachers. I don't know, Miss Fullerton was not there, but Lisa was there, right? Lisa was there, and Sandra. Oh, Mrs. Atkinson, that's right, she was there. Sandra Dendowski was there. It was tremendous. So many good years, and many of them now, some of these children are now married, and they've got their own children. Who are some of those? Let's see some hands. We have, okay, yes, that's good. Yes, we have Karen, and we have Felicia Beeman, and others who were in the school who had families and children. Melissa? Yes. Okay, we have there's others here. They're hiding at the moment. Okay, so it's great. Yeah. So anyway, it was a battle. It was rough. It was rough for everybody. It was rough for the people in San Pedro because we were new to them, and there's a little bit of mistrust, and so we don't know. Are you really gonna follow through? Are you gonna sell San Pedro after this is over? No, we don't do that. Show us where else we have abandoned our churches. We haven't. We continue consistently to try to provide the Latin Mass for the faithful in all of our chapels. So it's been, it's quite a history, 28 years then of the priests of the Society of St. Pius X looking after our chapels throughout Southern California. They seem to be multiplying. And so huge, yes. And certainly we have a great thanks, of course, to Msgr Donahue, who really made that happen. Really made the, as he was victorious in sponsoring the Society of St. Pius X, as I said, for the seminarians, preaching retreats for the priests of the Society of St. Pius X. So it was huge. So after 16 years, then it was time to move on. I guess, they remembered I was out here. So they said, oh my goodness, how long have you been out there? 16 years. His Father Fluger, actually, he was assistant to the Superior General. Father, how long have you been out here? I think it was 16 years. Oh, you'll have to move. I didn't know there was a timeline on this one, but whatever. Yes, it's true, I'm out here. I've been out there 16 years. Okay, so now I was sent to Chicago for 6 years. I was with Bishop, they stationed Bishop TCA, Bishop TCA with me. Yes, Bernard TCA de Mallory. He was with me for 6 years, and that was an experience. Living with a bishop. So they assigned me to Chicago, and then just a couple months later said, well, by the way, did we tell you that Bishop TCA is going to live with you? I said, no, you didn't mention that. I said, I only have one question. What's that? I said, who's in charge? Yes, they said it. I was in charge. Okay, I can deal with that. All right. Bishop TCA, years ago, it was a pleasure. I enjoyed Bishop TCA Mallory, and so it was good. But he announced one day at the pulpit in Chicago. He said, "Well, I will baptize the 10th child of any family." I'm like, okay, 10th child. Okay, well, I can deal with that. We had 4 families that had 10 children. So, have you ever seen a pontifical baptism? Mitre on, mitre off, he sits down for the baptism, the bowl comes out the lap.
Wow.
Mitre off, prayers, mitre back on, bougie bearer, book bearer, it was the whole 9 yards. I'm like, how did I get into this? What did I do? So, well, we enjoyed it. It was fun. It was good to have him there. He's now at Econ, we're stationed. So, of course, he's still around. He was just the same there. He's probably did 120 confirmations. That's not a guess. That's probably approximate. So he keeps busy. Then after that, I was sent to Winona. Winona was the former seminary of the Society of St. Pius X. It was built by Dominicans, and Dominicans, of course, after the Second Vatican Council, they went off the cliff like everybody else, and only a few survived. And so they sold the seminary, and then we picked it up later on, 1988, 97. I think I did the paperwork on that one. And so, yes, the seminary just outgrew the place. Too many. It's got 80 rooms, but they just filled them all up, and so we'll have to move. And so they built a new seminary in Virginia, so we keep expanding, and so the Winona was given, it's quite a large building actually. I describe it as, it's built in the shape of a cross. Okay, so you got a cross, okay, well, each section of the cross is 100 yards. It's a football field. It's quite large in both directions. So you got two football fields intersecting. That's why I'm, not really big. I have to walk these halls anyway, but they keep trying to feed me. But it's the exercise. I go and walking down these halls all the time. Anyway, it's a brothers novitiate. So now we're forming brothers there, training brothers. I know I'm way over time here, Father, but I'm taking some of Father Fullerton's time. Anyway, so yes, we have the beautiful property there. It's 325 acres. I don't cut all that grass, by the way. My brothers do most of the work. I just tell them what to do, and that's my job. And so,
Somebody's gotta do it.
beautiful property. It's a beautiful location. Religious brothers. That's what we need more of. There's 28 living in the house right now. Actually, 4 of those are priests, though. So we have missions attached to Winona. So we care for Green Bay, Madison, Cedar, Iowa, Bremer, Iowa, and let's see, yes, I think I covered that. So the priests are busy. It's a busy place, and the brothers then are doing great work, keeping the place up, and teaching the postulants and the novices, which is what the work of a religious house does, to educate them. And then they go for a year to the seminary for 1 year, and then they go out to the priories to live and to help the priests. And so that's where I'm at now. And when I was in Chicago and I was told I was going to Winona, one of the parishioners said to me, "So, is this the last place you're going? Is this retirement?" I said, "Do I really look that old? Sure. If that's what the plan is, but anyway, that's, I don't. So, but I'm happy to be there. I love being here. It's great to be here for 16 years, and it's great to see all of you, and certainly those who I've known for years. And so, thank God for the traditional Latin Mass, for Archbishop Lefebvre, and for Msgr Donahue and Our Lady of the Angels.
Amen.
Thank you, Father Lord. Next, we're going to have a slideshow that's going to go through the history and show probably a bunch of you. Watch for it. Thank you.
Water.